What is up, everybody? Cover 2 Monday nights. I got Coach in the building with me. What's up, Coach?
What's good, Jess? How you doing, baby? Let's go. 2
You doing
weeks
good?
until the show, dog. You gotta be hyped.
Is it really? Gosh, man, that's so crazy. It's that close. I can't even 2.5 weeks, right? Because technically it was 3 weeks this last weekend. So it's, a little over 2 weeks. Don't
Yeah,
press this on me, all
yeah.
right?
I mean, it's
Okay.
here though. I mean, put it like this:
Yeah.
preseason's over.
Okay.
It's time to go, bro. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like preseason's over. There's no other game or anything to necessarily talk about as far as the San Francisco 49ers versus the Seattle Seahawks. It's on. I'm hyped. It's time.
No, you're absolutely right about that, and it is time to go. So let's get into this first topic because this is gonna have a big impact on that first game. Jawan Jennings has been dealing with the calf injury.
Mhm.
Article comes out yesterday from Tim Kawakami that league circles. There's a lot of rumblings that the 49ers might start the season with him on IR. Yet another wide receiver that is
Right.
hurt for this team. They can put him on IR because, by the way, for those that thought it was a conspiracy that he was holding out, whatever, you can't put a player on IR unless they're hurt. So
Right.
he's clearly hurt. There's medical evidence of that. So we
Yeah.
can put all the other stuff away.
Mhm.
But along with that, there is still a contract dispute. He's not happy. Team's not necessarily happy. So they might move him to IR. And in the article, it basically talked about how it could be like a win for the 49ers because that would basically mean he won't hit certain thresholds so they could save some money and just kind of a whole it's like, yeah, he's injured, but also there's a business side to this too that works out for the team if he doesn't play for the first 4 games. What are your thoughts on that?
Um, for me, it's just unfortunate for Jawan. I mean, with every new angle that I hear about Jawan's scenario or situation or what could happen in favor for the team or what are the next like milestones that must happen. Forgive me if you hear Hannibal breathing down my neck. We just got
No,
finished going out for a
I can't
run.
hear anything. They might be able to hear something. I can't hear anything.
He's in the room right now and like he's decided to just plop right next to my feet and he is heating up my ankles. Pause. He's breathing
Oh,
hard as hell.
jeez. Yeah.
But
We'll take that back.
anyway,
Let's take that one back.
anyway,
Hannibal's his
man.
dog for those that don't know. Just, let's clear that
Yeah,
up.
yeah. Exactly. This is still a children's show. So look, um, no, but really every time I hear about Jawan, it's just nothing is in his favor.
Mm,
Right. And really, if his situation, if you even want to call it that, it's almost kind of like a car off the lot. It's depreciating with every rotation of the tires further and further away from the lot. It's just there's just no value in it. Um, right now, if Jawan was doing this last year, he may have gotten paid. But it's like, dude, you signed your deal. Okay. Yeah, albeit you came in, you helped out the team in a rough spot, but that's what players of your ilk are for. That's what they pay you for. Okay. I just think that right now, um, it's not even the fact that Jawan doesn't mean anything to the team. I just think that his situation is misaligned with the new direction of the organization. And it's unfortunate to see because he's probably one of the last guys that you would have liked to see eke in and get his money, right? But everybody else kind of ran to the table and got theirs before. Right now, I'm. You know what else this shows me as well is that it's a new day.
mm.
I'm under the impression that Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch's name is mud when it comes to putting their name down, vouching for players, getting guys money, and trusting the organization. Uh, Grant covered this, and I don't want to like step all over his take, but so I got this, like I'm sourcing Grant on this, but there was a split room on Juwan getting, I'm on Brandon Ayuk getting signed,
Yeah.
right? There was the split room, and the vote went down to the yeses, obviously, versus the no's. But the no's were some powerful no's that got outvoted. And now that the situation has blossomed into Brandon Ayuk not playing out that year, the money essentially being paid to him for him to rehab and get his stuff back together. It really wasn't even about Brandon Ayuk, but it was how Brandon handled the negotiations. He ended up getting what they offered and what they offered anyway, which is what he turned down. All right. And for that position, I feel like a guy of Jawan's stature can't even come close to how the organization feels right now. He's almost a sacrificial lamb on the low. Like,
I don't remember your stance on this, by the way. Were you in the pay Jawan Jennings corner or no? Like what and why or why not, I guess.
no,
Okay.
it didn't make sense. You signed a deal, you're in the middle of your deal. We put up with that from Christian McCaffrey. We put up with that from Trent Williams. Again, respectfully, I like Jawan's one of my favorite players on the team.
For
Okay.
sure.
I like Jawan, but you don't have enough cachet to pull that move.
Thank you. That's exactly what I said. He was not the caliber of player to hold out. He's just
Nah,
not.
I'm sorry. And that's not even like big time in him, right? But
No, not at
we
all.
love what he does. But these guys, they leverage themselves perfectly, right? Like Christian McCaffrey was do it all for us in 2023. All right. And there was no way that we could start a season without Christian McCaffrey coming in, and he got his money. Okay. Trent Williams sat back and watched us ignore the most offensive line talented draft in the past 2 decades.
Yep.
And when he saw that, he struck, rightfully so, and he got his money. Jawan is in the middle of a deal. He's the third option on a team that's already looking to penny crunch, and he's injured. Like, where's the onus on the 49ers to get this guy signed to say, you know what, fuck that, stop the presses, we got to get Jawan done before anything moves forward. So, like I said, I think it was a year too late. It's unfortunate. But right now, for what the team is doing right now, they're trying to get guys for parts. And if you're not playing where you're a part of their direct plan, nobody's safe.
You know what this whole thing tells me? The fact that they're not paying him, the fact that they're willing to put him on a IR partially for business reasons, is that they know that they're not winning a Super Bowl this year.
Oh,
Right?
for sure.
Like and we know, we assume they know those things, right? But they genuinely are just trying to be competitive. But they're
Oh,
not
yeah.
going to sacrifice money to do so. Like they don't care. They're worried about the future way more than anything else. So the question becomes, and Sunil asked this question to me last week, and I think it's a great question. Why is it this way? Is it because Kyle Shanahan and John Lynch have free runs that anything can happen this year? Or is it that Jed York's setting up an escape hatch of, hey, I don't have a quarterback under a long-term contract. I don't have a coach or a GM under a long-term contract. I got tons of cap space coming up over the next few years. You guys are supposed to be that good. Figure it out. And if you can't, I got a way out of this thing. Which one do you think it is?
Respectfully, for the latter, we're giving Jed way too much credit.
Okay. All right.
Okay. We're giving him way too much credit. Like, for that to be even remotely close to what Jed is thinking, you would have to forget about Jim Tonsula, Chip Kelly. You'd have to forget about all of that. All right. You
The
would.
chat's also jumping in like, listen, bud, chill out, would you?
Yeah,
He's not
Jesse,
that smart.
this is Jed. Please, thank you. Like, that is a lot, man. And good on you. You know, I think even if Jed sat back and listened to this, he'd be like, I could do this. I could do this. Right? You would even inspire Jed. But no. What I think, and this sucks, but hey, man, we're in the boiler room of the Titanic, dude. We know what steerage we're on. We're down low, baby. Okay, we're blue collar, and we understand that we keep the show going. It's all about keeping the beer flowing, the fantasy drafting, and the picks coming. That's what it's about. And what that is that the Niners got themselves a nice little conveyor belt of entertainment. They got them a coach that is a rock star himself. They fashioned themselves a nice franchise quarterback. They got some good pieces that are well known within the league. They got an entire coach to themselves, damn near, as far as championship caliber is concerned. And from a business perspective, you'd be a fool to screw this up. So we're circling the wagons. Right
Okay.
now, we can't poke our chest out. Okay. One of the things that scares me about the Jed and Kyle business relationship is that I feel like it's codependent. I don't feel like it's a straight up and down business relationship. I feel like they rely on each other for deficiencies that they have professionally. There are certain owners that wouldn't put up with how Kyle performs professionally and with some of the things that we heard that he has gone that have transpired with him behind closed doors, especially in the building. Some owners wouldn't even have that. And on top of it, not only would they wouldn't have it, but they wouldn't protect you, right? People would be talking about this stuff. And also, most head coaches who would come in for Jed, they would not be held accountable because I don't think Jed really knows how to hold a head coach accountable. I think he lucked up with Kyle. And that's what scares me about this is that when you're talking about the conversation that you've risen, it really is about them just protecting the status quo. Let's circle the wagons, right? I don't see a world where Jed makes it known that Kyle is on the hot seat
No, I don't think
publicly.
so either. I don't think so either.
And we're all like, but just like a traditional coach, though, right? Like his job is in the open. We all know what this means. And you're out of here at the end of the year. Kyle will never go that way. Not traditionally. He'll retire or go on a seance or ride off into the sunset on a unicorn, something, but it won't be
It'll
the
be a mutual
yeah.
whatever when it happens. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay. So the next question, I'm getting off on like a tangent here, but I think these are
Come on, man. It's
important
cover two, dog.
questions. I know. This is what we do. We have 5 topics and we'll cover one. Okay. So what about if there was an exit plan? Are the 49ers finally in a position where they can get the cream of the crop? Or are they in a position where they go back? Because this is what everybody says, right? Oh, well, if Kyle leaves and it's the Tom Zula and it's to me, I look at this and say, this team, at the very least, Kyle and John, say what you want about them. They've brought relevancy back to the franchise. And if you give them 9 years and they don't get it done, I don't think people across the league are looking at that like, oh, that's a risk. I don't know if I can take that job. Like, Jed's kind of a hothead. It's almost like he's kind of redeemed himself through this regime, whether that's him or not. This regime has redeemed the 49ers to a spot where they could be formidable in hiring elite coaching talent and GM talent, in my opinion. Do you agree with that?
Yeah. I mean, if you want to talk about the net,
Not that we trust Jed to do it. That's a whole different thing.
yeah,
By the
he's
way,
got to stick the landing. That's a whole nother
yeah,
conversation.
yeah.
I'll give you that. But yeah, if you want to look at net, what have John and Kyle gave us? They brought us back into the pantheon of relevancy, right? We are talked about. We are where we belong inside the NFL, right? I agree with that. They've also revitalized the standard that we had in our championship years of making sure that we have an identity. Before we didn't have an identity, we were all over the place. With Mike Singletary and Tom Sula, we were 3 yards in the cloud of dust. With Chip Kelly, we were Barnum and Bailey Circus. We were all everywhere, right? With Jim Harbaugh, we were big, we were physical, fast, but we didn't necessarily have all of the play calling down. So for me, I think that they have kind of thrusted us into the 21st century, the cutting edge of what football is. And it was nice for almost a decade where we could go around the league and see teams either out and outright copying us, right? Taking our offense or flatly just mimicking us and failing at it. And the thing about that I want to highlight with this is that everything don't last, man. Everything doesn't last. And yes, they have made us relevant, but are we cutting edge now? Are we a destination spot for a hot young coach? Yes and no, right? Like all the names we have, we're not young. We don't necessarily have a lot of young names that are up and coming. We have solidified names. We have names that are stand over across the league, but we also have some guys that are fading off right now. And
The 25 and under talent is not very great.
It's not good
I
at
will
all.
say that, yeah.
Yeah, it's not really,
it's not
it's nothing to really write home about. So
Yeah.
for a young coach coming in, if I'm young, right? Let's say I'm a young coach and I don't necessarily have that much cachet under my belt as far as resume is concerned. The Niners may not be that may not be a place that I want to come to, man. That place is highly tribalized, man. Dude, I'll get in there and they're going to start talking about Kyle while I'm in there. We already saw what they did to Trey. We saw what they did to Wilkes. You know what I mean? Like, if this team does not accept the transplant, it will reject you. This team does not take on guys that they don't like, you know, even to the chagrin of their own success. Look at Nick Sorensen. They raved about the Nick Sorensen hire. He was horrible. Horrible.
Yeah, he was really bad.
You know what I mean? So
really bad.
Yes. My biggest thing is that we need a meat grinder to come in here, and an organ grinder really to come in here and revitalize the identity. Okay. We need to kind of get rid of the name recognition, which is very hard to do when you're a head coach. It comes from the top down. And we do need to be a little bit more business-like, you know. I think that would kind of bring in more guys that you're trying to talk about, like hot and ready guys, because it's more of like a plug and play to just fit. But right now, this team is almost becoming like Kyle Shanahan or bust. Like, it's getting so married to what he wants to do. They are so galvanized around his words, around his confidence, that when it's time to move on or try to do something else, they may have to clean house and get rid of everybody. Because it's just like, everybody's too, it's John Jones, man. They're drinking the Kool-Aid. It's too much.
You know what you didn't say that I'm going to say, and I know it's going to get people hot. They also don't have the quarterback to attract top talent. They just don't. You can say what you want about it, but I will guarantee this right now. And I'm not saying he's a better player, because right now he's not. But the thought of him is more attractive. If Ben Johnson had been if the 49ers job had been open this last offseason and Ben Johnson could choose between Caleb Williams and Brock Purdy, he would have taken Caleb Williams still.
Come on, man.
He would have.
You see, now this is the part of the show where they're gonna start firing us up in the comments when this shit goes into live. Because somebody gonna listen to this and be like, he couldn't help himself. He just couldn't help himself.
Don't care. I don't care.
But honestly, bro, you're 100% right.
I know.
Anybody who says that,
I was like, come on, don't say that you're going the other way on this one.
I have a caveat though.
Okay.
I'm gonna backdoor your ass. Pause.
Okay,
but
yeah, of course. Whoa.
Look,
you've got the most plausible moments already. We are not even 20 minutes in, and you have two very plausible moments, but keep going.
You're jiggling, baby. Go ahead, baby. So look, my thing is this. We may not have, all right, I concede up front, especially if I'm a new coach, if I'm Ben Johnson specifically, just to stick exactly to your premise. If I'm Ben Johnson, I'm coming from the Lions and I'm looking at Caleb Williams versus what Brock Purdy has done this year. I'm picking Caleb Williams. Okay. I concede that. However, Brock Purdy has the better fiscal situation though. because of his contract. So one thing that I love about the Brock deal is that it is a new coach contract. It's a new coach contract.
Oh,
A new
definitely.
coach could bail on him in 2 years, 3 years, and say, "Hey, look, he didn't really kill our cap. You know, he didn't strap us. We can get him out of here." So one of the things that I always have to keep the things that I always have to keep in the back of my mind when I'm talking about Brock Purdy, ever since he got signed, is that you have to you've gotta calibrate how you talk about him now that he's gotten paid, because he didn't get the knockdown drag out contract. He didn't reset the
Right.
market. And I know that burns you, and I love it.
No,
That
it doesn't. No. That does no. This is exactly what I had hoped for. No, it
no,
doesn't burn
because
me.
no,
Actually,
but he
it's
doesn't.
fantastic.
What it does do, he doesn't have prove it money though.
Oh, we're gonna talk about that. Let's save this because I have this as a
His
topic.
contract is not prove it. I don't think it's a prove it
Okay.
contract.
This is a great topic, and we probably will go 30 minutes on this. So I can see that happening. I have this. I dress it up as another topic, but it's basically this. So save that part of it.
All right.
But and I want to be clear in what I'm saying because people misconstrue things a lot.
Okay.
Guess he's saying that Caleb Williams is better than Brock Purdy. That's not what I'm saying.
Mm-hmm.
Right now, Brock Purdy is the better player. Brock Purdy might always be the better player,
Mm-hmm.
but the thought of a number one overall pick that is 1 year in the league that didn't get the proper coaching, that is more exciting than what people think they know Brock Purdy to be. That's the point of that. It's what I said about like I said the same thing last year when teams were looking at like even JJ McCarthy. I'm like, right now, if you had offered a team, it ended up being Minnesota, but if you had offered a team that was going to draft JJ McCarthy before the draft, you could have Brock Purdy and we'll take your pick. They would have been like, no, I want the prospect of JJ McCarthy. Doesn't mean that JJ McCarthy is going to be any good at all. We don't know, but it's the excitement of the prospect versus knowing you don't have the elite quarterback. You have a very good quarterback, but if you don't have the elite one, then people want to take flyers on what could be elite. Does
All
that
right.
make sense?
Okay. So I got a little bit of a pushback. So
Okay.
what you're doing right now is essentially you're taking everything that Brock Purdy has done, you're
Mhm.
putting that to the side, and you're pushing forward the Mr. Irrelevant resume, which which I think is a little dubious because he's done enough to get out of that shadow.
He is out of that shadow. Bro, I had him as a third round prospect. I
Okay, all
never
right,
looked at
because
him as like Mr. Irrelevant.
how you're speaking about him is we can look at the prospect of what a first round draft pick does and all of that shabazz next to it. Cool. But but we're looking at what Brock has done. And coincidentally, you're only looking at Brock in the vacuum of the worst year he's ever had in his career, his worst career year. Right?
Can I
You
explain it
can't
another way? Because I
you
think I
take
got
Caleb
something for you.
Williams, just give Brock Purdy the year he had prior. You take Brock Purdy over Caleb Williams.
You take Brock Purdy over Caleb Williams in a vacuum, anyways. Like right now, you take Brock. Like that's not a question,
Okay.
right? Like I'm very
What
clear
am I
about that.
missing?
Okay, I'm going to put it to you in different terms.
Okay.
Let's say this is a game show. You have the chance to win $1 million. Okay. Remember Deal or No Deal? You remember that game?
Yeah.
The dealer would call him,
With
he'd
the
offer him
suitcase?
money, try to yeah, okay, perfect. So we're playing Deal or No Deal.
All right.
Okay. Caleb Williams is the briefcase that is not opened yet. It could have $1 million in it. I don't know. You've just opened Brock Purdy. And the deal is, hey, we're going to give you 300 grand to walk away right now, but there's 3 other briefcases up there. One of them is $1 million, and one of them is Caleb Williams is one of those briefcases. Maybe it's $1 million, but maybe it's $40. You don't know. The Ben Johnson is the player going, no, I don't want 300 grand. I came here for $1 million. And then the crowd goes wild. And he takes Caleb Williams and he opens the briefcase. We don't know if it's $1 million yet. We're gonna find out over the next few years.
I see, that's whack. No.
That's what it is.
Okay, so
That's
good
what it
analogy,
is.
by the way. Great analogy.
Okay.
However,
Okay.
I'm taking the $300,000.
That's fair. That's totally
I'm taking
fair.
the $300,000. Realistically,
totally fair.
everybody would take that $300,000. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm coming here for $1 million, but I'm going home with 300.
I'm telling you right now, a lot of people are taking that $1 million chance.
Yeah,
I got a 1 in 3 chance. You never know.
Yeah. And then
and the best part is Caleb Williams is the number they picked prior to that, like set the briefcase aside. It's my favorite number.
There's
it could have $1 million.
Look, I don't know, man. I just think that Brock he's been under the microscope since, literally day one. And
For sure.
I think that the money that he got paid, it couldn't have been a better deal. It's a perfect. If this was
perfect deal.
If you look in the dictionary for win-win, this deal will be right next to it. Just click the link and look at this deal. It's a win-win. It's the perfect win-win. So because of that, I'm gonna keep it 100, man. I be chilling on Brock, man. I don't really go hard on Brock because he got the right money. It's really on the rest of the team. Like, now, if Brock is in here, shit in the bed, of course we're gonna get on him. But
I don't
right
think
now,
that's really
man, Brock
happen,
didn't
though,
strap
honestly.
us.
And
he
Brock
wasn't
has
selfish.
a baseline.
You gotta love that.
That's a whole different story. But there is a baseline. There is a baseline to Brock of like, there's a floor to Brock, and that floor, as long as the team is strong around him, you can win with that. And then there's a ceiling to Brock. Right now, we don't know fully what that is. We have an idea. There's a ceiling to Brock that can elevate to a certain extent, right? So it's like, I'm cool on Brock, like what he delivers, especially for the money. Like, I'm really cool on it.
Right.
But there is a conversation to be had about Brock. We're going to get to it. Let me get to these super chats. And we'll probably just go straight to that conversation because we're on it basically anyways. Frank Tom Ocean says, legends, you guys are goats. No, Frank Tom Ocean, you are the goat. Dangerous Dave says, on my way. We all go into the Tampa game. All of us. Yeah, we'll definitely be at that Tampa game for sure.
It's gonna be dope.
Too Much Sauce says, is Jake Tonjes a needle mover this season? I don't know that Jake Tonjes and needle mover belong in the same sentence, but
can I say something? This is my crazy take. I think Jake Tonjes outplayed Luke Farrell in the preseason.
Oh, no. I don't disagree with that. But
I think he did.
Luke Farrell, bro.
I know, but I'm just saying, like, this is supposed to be our money guy. You know what I mean? Like, he was our marquee free agent this year.
He is, because he's a blocker, though, more so than anything. I think Luke Farrell is a sign that they're going to get George Kittle loose in the passing game way more than they ever have. More than it's going to, like, do anything for Luke Farrell. He's going to have, like, 18 catches and 170 yards this season, but George Kittle's going to be going crazy.
Yeah,
but that's why we got Luke Farrell.
But needle mover, I don't.
Yeah,
we haven't had
the brakes a little.
Yeah, we haven't had a good number 2 receiver and since George has been here. I mean, a good number 2 tight end since George has been here.
I agree. What's up, Dave? He says, fire Lyle or bust. He's the losing catalyst. Dave is just like, can't.
Then we're left with Jed.
I know. Right. Frisco Shill says, neither of you say why Johnson would prefer Williams over Purdy. I did. State your reason for the perspective of a head coach that wants a QB to execute his system. Yeah, and I would say it's also fair that what Ben Johnson asks of his quarterbacks does require a strong arm. It just does. Like, there's certain throws that need to be made that, and if you're worth your salt as a coach, he could build a great system around Brock and make it work. I'm not saying that, but what he prefers to run, he needs somebody that has a bit of an arm on him, and Caleb has that. So,
well, I mean, for me, you would just really bet on what the guy is going to do once he takes over the offense, right? You're scouting and you're projecting like with the forecast when you're looking at a player, right? Obviously, you know you're not going to really hang on to what he gives you now. And for me, it's just simply put, Brock has yet to prove that he has a high ceiling. That'll be the greatest thing that Brock ever does in his career for me, is if he breaks past his ceiling. Like if Brock creates another element to his game, that Brock is going to be a problem. But that's the biggest thing with Brock right now, is that he's got a ceiling, right? And you can't see one with Caleb yet. And that's enough to be honest with you, for there. And I saw a comment by Tom in the chat. The reason why Ben Johnson would pick Caleb Williams over Brock Purdy is because Ben Johnson wouldn't be picking Williams. He'd be betting on himself. You know what I'm saying? So if I'm betting on myself, where I know that I can get the best out of a guy, I'm picking Caleb Williams over Brock Purdy. If my job's on the line.
Of course. Hugo says, Jesse, we got to get up because I'm dope and I do dope-ish. All right, perfect. Thanks, man. Zach says, great story, bro. What's up, Zach? He says, that was a fun game show. He's talking about the Deal or No Deal.
Yeah,
No Deal
was hilarious.
Taking the Caleb Williams briefcase. Matt says, Purdy needs to get better versus man and in the fourth quarter. For sure. I mean, he's not perfect, but he's also not a finished product either. So we'll see. Joseph says, Brock's an effing bum. All right, chill out.
Come on, man.
Said paid a QB to not even be top 32, guys. This is, you know what's funny about this stuff? This is how people think I view Brock Purdy. Like, I swear, Joseph thinks this, but I genuinely don't view him like that. But this is the way people, you just don't give him any credit. It's like, shut up. I talked about Brock Purdy before you even knew he was there. Stop. All right.
And for the record,
this
was a thought exercise about Brock Purdy versus Caleb Williams as a brand new head coach and as a first-time quarterback. Right now, I think we have to give out the final disclaimer, because they know how they let a clip shit. Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Caleb Williams.
Yes, we agree there.
Okay, so let's just put that out there before they run with this shit.
Yeah, I mean, and we'll see. We'll see in another year or two. That doesn't mean that's going to be the case.
Right now.
It definitely could be. But right in this moment, who's the better quarterback? It's Brock Purdy. It's not, it's not debatable. I don't think it's debatable at all, actually. Okay. Well, then let's get into that other topic, because I saw a post today from my guy JC, actually, on Twitter. And he said something along the lines of, if Jawan Jennings doesn't play in week 1, and Brock plays well, like while these players are suspended and hurt on IR or whatever, we got to have a conversation, essentially saying, like, we got to give Brock his flowers. And so it made me think, because this conversation can go either way, right? You can go, and I want to see where your head's at. You can go with the route that he said and say, hey, he deserves his flowers. But you can also say, well, he still has CMC. He still has a first-round pick in Pearsall. He still has George Kittle. He still has a great left tackle. He has Kyle Shanahan, and he's paid, regardless of whether he broke the bank or not. Like, he's paid, right?
The story's over.
Is he doing? Yeah. He got the money. If he plays well, is he just simply doing his job based off of now being paid, or is it something that we should be like, hey, man, look at Brock doing it without, Jawan and Ayuk and all these things? Like, there are two sides to this story. So I am curious to see, like, what side you would land on in that scenario.
You know how, like, everybody thinks Patrick Mahomes is like one of the best quarterbacks in the league, but he's gotten to the point where he's so good that we've gotten bored with his consistency of greatness. So we forget about him for the entire season until the postseason. You know how that feeling now, where it's like you don't even really follow Patrick Mahomes in the regular season anymore?
You don't need to.
Yeah. You don't need to, right? Because why? Because it's not so much as the fact that he's just dominant over everybody, but it's consistency. We have seen that man win so many different ways. We've seen him win spectacularly. We've seen him win boring. We've seen him win nail biters. We've seen him win slowing down the defense, right? Letting the defense win. We seen them win on Hail Marys in games that they shouldn't have won at all. We seen them win on games where they were up big, lost the lead, came back, got their act together, pulled it out. We seen games in the inverse of that where they sucked early, finally got a little bit of momentum, came back in the end and got it together. The long and short of it is that he's a pro and there's consistency with what he has done where we can trust him. When Brock starts showing consistency where he is consistently the reason why the 49ers are winning football games, that is when people will really start having a discussion. That is when the discussion will start. When the Niners are winning at least 10 games, always in the playoff. And mind you, I'm not talking about Super Bowls. I'm not talking about NFC championship games. I'm talking about when you think of the San Francisco 49ers, you think about Brock Purdy. You think about Brock is the reason why those guys win. If no matter who's hurt, when people ask, well, is Brock playing? Well, yeah, Brock's playing. Well, they good. They good. There's not a quarterback who you don't even think about that way, where you don't have that conversation. If a team was injured, if the Bengals were injured and they were beat up, first person you're asking is who's playing is Joe Burrow. Is Joe Burrow playing? If the Bills are beat up, is Josh Allen playing? If the Ravens are beat up, is Lamar Jackson playing? You know what I'm saying? So right now, if Brock Purdy goes down, there are people that would feel okay with Mac Jones depending on who we're playing. That's a fact. You know what I'm saying? You can argue with me if you want to, but deep down, you know that if Brock Purdy went down for a 2-game stretch, there will be people all within the comments right now trying to pick those 2 games because we think that Mac Jones will be the guy or whoever the backup is, right? That would be, oh, yeah. If Trent's healthy and we just give it to CMC and Kyle could just give him a good game plan, we could pull this out. That's not, well, Brock's not playing. We're losing this game. So that's for me. When Brock gets to that level, then I'll stop caring about who he's not playing with and winning with. That won't even be a conversation anymore, right? But until then, he's along for the ride. He's a good coworker. You know what I'm saying? It's Brock down in the accounts receivable. You know what I'm saying? He's down there. You know what I'm saying?
But he's Milton from Office Space.
Yeah.
But if I don't get my stapler, I get it burned down the building. I swear.
Yeah, man. It's like, bro, they want Brock to be the CEO, man. He just runs accounting, and that's okay. That's
Those
okay.
books are tight, though. I mean, they are never, bro. If Brock ran accounting, they would have never lost that draft pick. Let me tell you. For their accounting error, remember?
You, dog. Oh my god. Yo, front row J Rose wild. Digging in your booty. Nah, but for me, man, honestly, I'm gonna just tell you, man, that's what it is for me. Brock he's got to be the reason why they win and lose. That's it. And until you start looking at it like that, it is what it is. But ain't nothing wrong with Brock being down in accounting, man. It's cool, man. He's the head of the department. Nice young guy. Got him from DeVry. Came in without a degree. We got him in here on an internship. Ended up becoming a department head. That's a great story. All right.
I bring this comment up not because of the comment, but because of his name. My name is Jeff.
My name is Jeff.
All right. Corey says, I have friends who always tell me that Kyle Shanahan is one of the greatest offensive minds in football. Am I wrong for thinking that he's overrated because I can't look past the playoff failures? This one's a really tough one for me because it's like we know all the idiosyncrasies that Kyle Shanahan brings to the table. We know all of the scars. When we look at an Andy Reid, we're like, oh, it's just Andy Reid. It's just the best. The winning Super Bowls and this and that. But I guarantee there are Kansas City fans that can be like, yeah, but, and when they have the lead in this situation or, when this, like, you see a coach time in and time out or anybody, your favorite team, you know more about them than any other fan base. So all the things that you can't stand, always are going to outweigh everything. The fact is that Kyle is one of the better minds in football offensively.
Yeah.
He is. Does that mean he's the greatest head coach? No. He's a very good head coach. I think you can argue top 7, maybe even top 5, depending on what your list is. He's a very good head coach, but he is one of the elite offensive minds in football. He just is. So, yes, it can be annoying. He doesn't run the ball in the Super Bowl when he should. I get all of that. But man, they put up points with Jimmy Garoppolo. Like that's the bottom line is that. So, he's good. Like he is good. Frustrating, but good.
He's good. He's a very good coach. He's a very good coach. His intellect is off the charts, and he knows his system in and out. You got to give him that. And one thing about Kyle is one thing that I've never said about Kyle is that he's lazy. I've never said that
No,
Kyle is
he's a
lazy.
tireless worker.
Kyle is a very hard worker. Kyle, sometimes his sometimes Kyle's like work ethic gets him in trouble. Sometimes he works too hard on game plans and it's way too dialed in and he needs to relax. I think that's one of Kyle's biggest issues. You can't outwork him. You won't outwork him. And he's one of the greatest offensive minds that the game has ever seen. And that's not even like from a head coaching perspective. I'm talking about him. He's a part of history. You know, his father and those guys, they changed football. So Kyle's a part of rare. He's a part of rare air. So like the douchiness is like somewhat justified.
Yeah, for sure. Real quick though, there's almost 600 people watching across the platform. So wherever you're watching, if you could just stop, hit the like button, it's free. Just puts it out there for other people to check us out. Be greatly, greatly appreciated. And thank you to all of those that are donating as well. But the best way to donate is hit that thumbs up for us, man. Dazza says, isn't that why we're going to pay Brock or why we're going to pay Brock 50 million? Because we don't need a stacked offense. Look at what Mahomes, Allen, and those guys did last year with those weapons. Yeah, I mean, listen, there's only 5 to 7 of those guys max in the league at one time. And we can say, hey, Brock's not one of those guys, and that's true. But there are other good quarterbacks that you can say that about too. You can say that about Baker. You can say that about Hurts. You can say that about CJ Stroud right now. You can say, there's guys in the league that are good quarterbacks that aren't in that elite category.
Mm-hmm.
Just is what it is. It's most of the quarterbacks in the league. So other guys that you look at and say are good across the league, you can say that about them too, for the most part. Zach says, I think Brock has a real shot at being that guy. It's in there.
I want to highlight Dusty Gold 3032's comment.
Okay.
Because I think that this is a big deal. Kyle doesn't have Eddie breathing down his neck like Walsh. Walsh had stress. One thing that I will say is I've been around Kyle. I've been like all of us have been around Kyle, but I have been around him for a while, especially when he came over here to DC. And one thing that I will say that that happens with Kyle is that he responds to fear. He responds to, I'm about to get my ass fired. We're about to lose. Kyle, I'm going to tell you, some of Kyle's best work is when he has been truly scared that he was going to lose his job or get embarrassed. I got a couple of examples for you. Okay. One, Kyle's season with the Washington Redskins with RG3's rookie year. They started off that season 3-6. They were horrible. The year before, they had tried to get it done with John Beck, of all people, and Donovan McNabb. They benched Donovan McNabb in the middle of the season. And at that time, they were ready to get Mike Shanahan out of here. Mike had even started talking about guys during the season in the middle of the year. Mike had actually given out a press conference basically talking as if the season was over. Like, oh, we're going to see who really wants it. We're going to, really take audit of who wants to be here. And it was it. During that time, it was widely reported that Daniel Snyder like basically walked down into Coach Shanahan's office and was like, "You're done. It's a wrap. I'm not going to give you another year with RG3," because they thought Dan Snyder was all but convinced that they were sabotaging RG3 because they didn't want him that year.
They drafted Kirk Cousins and all that.
There you go. They drafted Kirk Cousins in, I think, round 4. They picked him up around 4, and Camp was pretty much going the same way. Cousins was kind of outplaying RG3. What Kyle did to get to the point is he completely changed the offense. All of that, my sacred offense bullshit went right out of the window, dude. They adopted Baylor's offense. Hook and they took it all right? Changed everything, ended up, you guys know, you guys are football fans. They went on like a 6 or 7 game win streak, ended up going to the playoffs, losing to the Seattle Seahawks. They were up 14-0 on the Seattle Seahawks. RG3's legs fall off in the middle of the game. The shit was crazy. All right. So he does it there. All right. Another time he got shook. He was about to get fired. He had a cup of coffee with the Browns, right? He basically gave a PowerPoint slide about why he didn't want to coach Johnny Manziel anymore. Quit. Okay. Imagine that. Imagine the balls to get fired from being an offensive coordinator for one team, botching the number 2 overall pick, then going to another team, getting another high draft pick, all right, and then telling the ownership why you don't want to coach him. Now, albeit history was on his side, Johnny Manziel was a train wreck, but just the balls to do that. Then he ends up going to Atlanta. Now, at this time, Kyle Shanahan's career is on life support, okay? He's had a burgeoning career with the Texans, okay? Got mentored by John Gruden prior, coming out of Tampa. Kyle didn't even call plays his first year as an offensive coordinator. He had to wait a whole year until he got those duties awarded to him. Had a couple of good years with them with Matt Schaub, but he tanked with Washington. One good year in that blip with RG3. Tanked with the Browns. And then when he goes to Atlanta, they were ass. Atlanta was so geared up for what Kyle Shanahan
and Matt Ryan didn't like him.
Matt Ryan couldn't stand Kyle. As a matter of fact, they put out a petition the year before in 2015 to get Kyle fired. There was a whole petition to get rid of him. Roddy White couldn't stand Kyle. Nobody liked him. They couldn't stand his play calling. They couldn't stand how he coached everything. It wasn't until Matt Ryan called a meeting with Kyle and sat him down. Not the other way around, not Kyle. Matt Ryan sat Kyle down. They went and had a beer and basically had this whole kumbaya about like, hey, listen, we got to run things my way. I'm a veteran quarterback. Let's meet on the same page. And the rest is history. We all know what happened in 2016, right? Kyle goes and blows the biggest Super Bowl game, the biggest Super Bowl lead in Super Bowl history, right? However, all I'm saying is that the year that Kyle went, they had basically one of the best offenses in NFL history that Atlanta year in 2016. They were on fire. But that year came out of fear. Kyle was fighting for his reputation. He already knew that it was time for him to move on the crossroads of either I'm going to be a career coordinator or I'm going to hurry up and become a coach. What happens after they go to the Super Bowl that year? Kyle comes here, right? We get Kyle. But if Kyle and those guys don't go to the playoffs that year in Atlanta, Kyle could be floating in press boxes all around the NFL, bro. He only responds to fear. All right. When he knows that his back is against the wall and there's no way out, then he'll bend the knee. You saw what he did last year. Last year, we had truncated offensive scripts. What do we do against the Lions? Because they knew the Lions were going to come in here to whoop our ass. Whole new game plan. Pulling out the stops, running screens, running hurry up, quick game, the whole nine. Kyle's like a child, bro. Like, he has to feel the urgency. I'm dead ass. So that's my take. That's my TED Talk. But Kyle with fear, that's the only way. He got to be scared.
I don't disagree with that. That's actually a really good take. It was a long-winded approach to get there, but it was a very good take.
I had to prove what I was saying, though. Like,
Yeah,
there's just instances, bro.
There's proof. There's prove-it points. I got you. And we know the Kyle Shanahan story very well. We remember last offseason, you and I went crazy on that. That was one of the most popular shows that we've ever had, I think. We went in the weeds on what Kyle Shanahan was and was not, and it was very eye-opening for a lot of people.
It was, man.
Dave says Brock can't see if his guys are open, throws 20-yard Hail Marys, will pass up open guys down deep and take a sack. What more do we need? He's great, right? Higher interception ratio in the fourth quarter last year. We good. All right, dude. Dave's doesn't care. Matt says, why can't there be a nuanced convo about Brock? He was very good. He was very good capability scrambling for yards against zone. He's lethal against man. He struggles. Hero ball syndrome, fourth quarter blunders, clean those up, and he's elite. Yeah,
I think
absolutely.
his arm talent shows up when defenses play man against him. And man,
Croc always says you don't need arm talent until you need arm talent. Hold on, arm strength. He has arm talent. These are two very different things, by the way, and a lot of people get them confused. Brock Purdy has elite arm talent, in my opinion. He doesn't have elite arm strength. Those are two very different things. Arm talent to me is throwing from different angles.
Yeah.
Getting the ball out quickly, popping it over players when, you got somebody in your face. Like, that's arm talent. He can make all. Okay, here's a great example. Trey Lance has great arm strength. I don't think he has great arm talent. Those are two very different. Trey Lance doesn't throw from angles. He doesn't, you know what I mean?
Trey listening to you, better watch out.
Yeah, it's all right.
You heard Trey said to Grant?
Yeah. Hey, chill out on them. He's like, on who?
Chill out,
all of them.
He's like, boy, crazy.
Joseph says, I'd rather have Rattler than Brock Purdy. He isn't special. All right. Gee, come on, guys.
Now. It's a free-for-all now. This is what the internet's for.
Yeah. Sean says, Kyle Shanahan is a great offensive mind and a good coach, but great head coach? Nah. He lacks introspection, self-evaluation, and willingness to change. He's had too many failures to still be stuck in his ways. I couldn't agree more with this, Sean. It's a great comment by you. Great comment. All right, let's get to another topic. Should we expect a slow start from the 49ers? We've already laid out a pretty big case as to why that's a possibility. We know that Ayuk's going to start the season on IR. We know that obviously they've got injuries at the running back position. We know that they've got suspensions at the wide receiver position. Jennings might miss the start of the season. Michael Williams is just now getting back to practice. I mean, injuries out the wazoo everywhere, it seems. And the rookies, most of the rookies haven't been consistent either from the beginning of the offseason to now. Pretty much all of your high-value rookies have missed time due to injury. And so they haven't gotten the development they need. Should it be expected that the 49ers are going to start slow? I mean, yes, okay, that what they've got the Saints week 2, that should be a win no matter what. But the Seahawks look very formidable. You've got the Rams in week 5. Like, the schedule does play pretty tough, especially when you have guys out of the lineup. Like, are you expecting them to start slow at this point?
No. I'm not. I was going to change my season prediction on what I had them at, but I'm going to keep them at 10-7.
Okay.
When there's a lot of information, it's important to pay attention to the most important information. And that is The redundant information is everybody's hurt. So and so is hurt. So and so is hurt. So, but you got to figure out a way how to tie all of that together, so you can at least know exactly where you stand. At least give yourself a sit rep. And for me, the biggest common denominator with all the guys that are hurt is that very few guys are on IR. Very few guys are on IR, which means that these guys are coming back. Which means that, hey man, you got to start the season running and get the coaching. This isn't going to take a roster effort. This is going to take like a complete organizational effort. They're going to have to like get guys ready on the fly. They're going to be teaching new technique during the season. They're going to be doing things during practices where they can't be just getting ready for teams. They have to be working out like fundamentals, like in the first couple of periods of every practice, like it's a freaking bye week. Like we got to have like mini training camp for a week just to get all of our fundamentals down. They're still going to have to keep doing that stuff during the season. They're that young. Like the clay is that wet. And I think there's a lot of great things that can come out of it. I've been a part of teams where we weren't good, man, but we shocked a lot of people because we knew we weren't good and we had self-awareness. And it turned out to be a great season. For me, first quarter of the season, let's just go the first 5 games. I got the Niners at 3-2. Okay. So I got us losing to Seattle week 1, beating New Orleans, beating Arizona, beating Jacksonville, and losing to the Rams. So no, they should be able to start off firing and ready to go. Seahawks, I feel like that's at Seahawks is going to be a little bit, it's going to be a tough atmosphere, but they're a familiar foe, right? And we should be able to win that game. I got us losing it, but we should be able to come in there tough and ready to go. New Orleans, I think everybody is watching New Orleans because I think that's the floor game where we'll know exactly where we stand based on how we handle.
They
New
struggle
Orleans.
versus New Orleans. It's going to be a
my God. If we struggle versus New Orleans, the sky will fall, bro. Even if we beat New Orleans, it'll feel like a loss.
Yes.
It'll feel like a loss. Okay.
Especially if they lose week 1.
Yes. Arizona's huge because even if we lose week 1, we can't go 0-2 in the division. Right. So when we see Arizona, either we're trying to go up 2-0 or we're trying to go 1-1. So that's a huge game for us. Jacksonville is a win. I have that as a win. And then for the Rams, I think with us coming out with 3 wins in a row, I just think that going to the Rams is just going to be a little bit too much of an ask. So
I'll be at that game.
Huh?
I'll be at that game.
Yeah. So, I mean, and for me, the reason why I think the Seattle Seahawks are going to win, because they're younger than us. I think they're younger. I think they're faster. I believe that they have a little bit more to play for with us. They know who they are. They know how the league sees them. And I believe that they're different. What I mean by that is that we haven't seen good offense from Seattle in a very long time. Good play calling. We haven't seen a different type of defense in Seattle in a really long time. Guys that are flying around. This is a whole new identity that's creeping into our division, and you got to pay attention, right? If we treat them, I think
it's as simple as stopping the run. If the 49ers can stop the run against Seattle, they're going to win that game. But if Seattle figures out how to run the ball, they're not going to win. It's just.
Did you see Gray Zabel in them boys?
I know that's what I'm. It really is that simple.
You can't fake blocking. I'm sorry, you can't fake that shit. The Seattle Seahawks look good. They got an O-line too.
What's crazy about them is their O-line has been rated so bad for the last few years, but they've invested so many draft picks. It's like now it just looks like it's preseason. So we'll actually see. Yeah. But there is a possibility that you spend enough high draft picks that they all just kind of figure it out. You know what I mean? You've got high draft pick after high draft pick on that offensive line. You've got talented guys. It's just, can they gel together? And they may have figured it out. And if they have, it's going to be a problem. The one thing they cannot do, it's not about the 3-2. I don't necessarily disagree with that. The 2 can't be division. They have to start 2-1 in the division. If they start 1-2 in the division, 3-2 doesn't seem as sweet as it would be if they're 2-1 in the division.
Well, yeah, and the thing about it is that we'll know exactly where we stand as far as playoff implications are concerned by week 5. We got 3 division games in the first 5 games of the season.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
So we'll know early. On top of
Yep.
how we played against New Orleans, we'll know exactly who we are. That little subset of games.
Remember when I said we were almost to 600? We're over 700 now across the platforms watching. So thank you to those hitting those like buttons, pushing it out to the algorithm. For those of you that haven't, please do so. Big help. It's a great way to support the show. It's free to do. Just hit the like button. It just puts it out there in the ether. So we appreciate you.
Hit all the likes.
You know I keep score, okay? On
you
these
petty
things.
Betty.
I'm very petty. For 2 weeks now, you just argued with me of why it would be basically a miracle if the 49ers made the playoffs. And then you just hit me with, I got them going 10-7.
Yeah.
You have to explain this to me.
All right. So the reason why I have them going 10-7 is because of the injuries. I think that these guys are coming back, and when they're coming back, they got to be ready. I don't want to. This is my thing. I don't want to kill the season before it starts. If I say that they're going to the Super Bowl, or if I get like unrealistic 13-4 and all this other shit, like what's gonna kill it is the moment they have a 3-game losing streak or they lose 2 games in a row and we got 9 games left to go in the season. Like that's not a good season for me, right? What I want is I just want them to go out on their shield. Just go out on your shield. Just leave it all out there. Just use everybody. Don't care about who's getting paid more than this guy. Try your best. Like at what point does, like, now we've seen politics play on this team, right? Let's go, for example, Jordan Mason. Jordan Mason didn't play because Jordan Mason was entrusted with fumbling the ball a couple of times, and Kyle Shanahan didn't necessarily like him, right? So Jordan Mason got shelved. We've seen that happen many times with many players on this team, right? But at what point do we get to like the level of like so close to our goal where it's like Kyle gets obsessed and just rolls his sleeves up and he's just like, you know what? Fuck that. Everybody, we're doing it. No ego, no narratives, no beefs, no slights. Everybody who needs to play is playing. We're doing exactly what we need to do to win. I don't care if we throw the ball. Like, I really thought that Kyle was at that position where we beat the hell out of the freaking Packers and we threw the ball like 8 times. Remember that? Like,
Yeah.
I really believe like,
okay,
he's getting it. He's getting it. He knows how to win ugly, because like that's the shit that Bill Belichick has, where it's like Bill Belichick doesn't care how he looks. He doesn't care what they have to do to win. They're just going to win. And
Yeah.
I've caught Kyle trying to be too cute at times. But come to find out, he was just doing that to just embarrass his colleague, LaFleur. Like, that's all that was. So, like, it bit me in the ass. But truthfully, I just want them to live up to their standard. I think 10-7 is their standard, and I think that they can live up to it. They've got a lot of good players on this team still. We're not loaded, but I think that from a fan perspective, even when we were at our best, I don't think fans realize that this roster is not realistic. You're not supposed to have this many great players like on both sides of the ball. You're not supposed to just stumble into George Kittle and Fred Warner, and you don't stumble into Aziz Al-Shaair and Dre Greenlaw. That just doesn't happen. You don't find a DJ Jones. Like, these are guys that are still in the league today doing anything. Like, we caught lightning in a bottle numerous times over the 9 years that we've been here. But now we're gonna have to win like mortals. We're gonna have to coach our way out, and I think they can do it. There's a lot of championship mechanisms here. These guys have played a lot of football. They've been in a lot of tough situations. They'll be okay with this season. I just don't see Niners down by a score to Arizona in the 4th, and we're looking at these guys like, what are they gonna do? Now, how are they going to handle this situation? I mean, this is a big deal. Like, nobody's going to feel that way. We're all going to be like, okay, you've been here before. Another test. Let's see how they perform. They've been here. They've been in tough games. So I want to see them handle this season like pros. If they come out of here 10-7, dude, 11-6, bro, we'd have to kiss the ring. We would. Go to the playoffs, all of the injuries that came in, for them to right the ship right away in a year. Like, listen, when the season starts, you know I'm going A10 dummy on their asses. I'm going crazy. But for now, before the ball is rolled out, you got to give them grace to get their act together. And right now, I'm giving them, they got to get their act together. Just like every other team is trying to get it all together right before the ball rolls out. They deserve that time. They deserve that grace.
That was a long-winded way to say that you've come over to my side of things, that it wouldn't be that impressive if they made the playoffs.
No, if they made the playoffs, that would be impressive.
You just picked them at 10-7. That's a playoff record.
Yeah. You're fucking miserable, bro. Like, yo, bro, like you
knew I was gonna do this.
You do all of this stupid shit just to prove your dumbass points, bro. Every person in my life is, I don't even have real conversations anymore, bro. Like, everybody's like, yeah, so, but you do know you just, I'm like, what the fuck? Like, it's a Geico commercial? No, but I just saved 25% on my home and auto show. Like, oh, okay. We get it. Bang, bang. You got me, Sheriff.
All right. Joseph says 0-5 start, then go 12-5 and win the Super Bowl. Morris, Super Bowl MVP. Okay. I'll take it. Dangerous Dave says, gee, I got together yesterday in he met with Grant in Oakland. Nice.
That's dope.
I got to see a picture of that. Dave's like 6'7" or something crazy.
Word.
Yeah, he's tall. Dave says, just want games like 2019 Saints game. Craven. That was
the Kittle drag. That was fire.
Such a sweet game. Oh my gosh.
Offense was clicking that game.
Oh,
I was like, where did this come from? We were gunning.
Oh, that game was so great.
That
so
was
great. Shady Luke says Seattle's offense could catch teams off guard the first 4 weeks with Kubiak. Their offense is a mystery. Yeah, I don't think it is a mystery. That's the thing. But teams aren't used to them running the ball with consistency. And they have the running backs and the offensive line to do it. And so finally it's going to get done. And I think just physicality always has a chance to win in the league. And truth be told, I'm going to throw this out there. I have the 49ers sweeping the Seahawks. In fact, I have a hat bet on it. But I look at that roster. I do. And I have a hat bet on it in week 1. However, I will say this right now. That roster reminds me so much of the 2019 49ers before the season starts. I'm looking at a very good offensive line with elite young defenders all over the place, coached by an elite defensive mind.
That kid that they got at safety is special.
Yeah.
Like you know how you usually get kids that like they hit all the metrics and they turn out to be Taylor Mays. You know what I mean? It's just you're big for nothing.
Yeah, we see that a million times over. Yeah.
It didn't even come together.
Yeah.
This dude,
Jeremy Chin, yeah.
This dude,
he looks the part.
He looks the part and plays the part. Yeah. Nick, what's his name? Nick Emanwari?
Yeah, Nick Emanwari.
Dog.
Yeah.
He's a problem.
I knew once they took him, that was the perfect place because you think about it. This is a coach that coached Kyle Hamilton. He knew what he was doing. He knew what and I remember when Kyle Hamilton would say, oh, he's too slow and this and that.
He's too big. He's lanky.
No, yeah. He doesn't have a position. Like, yeah, well, we saw how that turned out. He's turned out to be pretty good. He looked at that and was like, yeah, I'll get my Kyle Hamilton too. Bet that. And it sounds like he went and found him. And they have Witherspoon's an elite corner, bar none, period, top 5 corner in this league. Then you've got, just pass rush in spades, dude. Their defensive line is so deep. I, I'm
Dog.
I'm just saying they just remind the way they are built is very you got a quarterback that's, not great, but can get it done. Not the biggest, not the best wide receivers, right? You got some guys, but not the best, but you do have the veteran. He's your Emmanuel Sanders, that's Cooper Cup. You got your young Debo, which is your
Smithy
JSN.
Jigba.
Bro, you got both of your running backs. So you got the running back tandem like we had with Breida and
Charbonnet.
Mostert.
Yep.
I'm telling you, man, they very, very reminiscent of the 2019 49ers. I don't know that they're going to go on that kind of run, but if they do, I wouldn't be
Sneaky
shocked.
good.
Sneaky good, yes. And nobody saw it coming with the 2019 Niners. So
Yeah, nobody saw us coming. That's what was so dope about that year, because every game was like a surprise attack, like catching somebody off guard. It was just like, oh, you don't know? You don't know?
yeah.
Remember the Browns game? That was the best game. The Monday. Oh,
first play, Breida just breaks one.
bro. Nick, before we knew he was MAGA. Come on, man.
When he got Baker and then did the flag plant.
Did the flag, bro? It was just theatrics,
and the
bro.
Browns, it was supposed to be a good game, and we just came in and mopped them, bro. Mopped them. Yeah, it was crazy.
Those were
Jazza says, would be a blessing in disguise if the Niners missed the playoffs. I don't want to be hovering around 8 and 9, 10 and 7, but not being serious contender and Kyle continuing to Kyle. Okay, could be. Sean says, Coach, to your point, is Kyle Shanahan coaching scared this year?
No, and that's what I'm scared
That's
of.
the problem.
I don't see the urgency.
Dave says, Jess, you know what? An email.
Kyle may do it just to not get shown up by Saleh. But I think that it's a little embarrassing to like hire a guy and then like openly admit like, well, he's the co-head coach. It's like, the fuck?
Yeah, why'd you hire him?
Yeah.
Come on, that's not real. Dave says he sent me a all right, I'm gonna check those out. Appreciate you. And then ACU says, how do you see Kyle scheming up wide receiver separation from the beginning of the season? I think it's actually really easy with Ricky Pearsall. He just has to get Ricky Pearsall in motion. And as long as he does that, Ricky's going to get free releases, two-way goes, and he's going to be fine. If he leaves Ricky Pearsall stagnant on the outside, it's not going to go well. It's just not. That's not the type of receiver he is, and that's okay. Like, Wes Welker wasn't that type of receiver either. Julian Edelman wasn't that type of receiver either. There's plenty of spaces in the NFL for receivers just like Ricky Pearsall, and as long as he does the right thing with him, Ricky Pearsall is going to be open all day, every day. He just is.
Screen game. We got to be the Minutemen, right? Help out our offensive line, get the ball out quick, get Brock in a rhythm. I see a lot of what I see is a lot of shotgun. Brock spent majority of the whole season last year in shotgun. They're going to continue that this year. But also, I'd like to see a lot of screens from under center. And the reason why I like the screen game from being under center versus from being from shotgun is that Brock can be able to keep the ball himself with a lot of keepers, being able to roll out, have some naked boots, getting the ball out quick, getting some rocket screens, some now routes, some tunnel screens. I think that having at least 6 to 10 screens in your game plan, it's almost like if you're a writer, it's like a screen is almost kind of like a comma. Like you need a breath. You need to take as you're talking and you're reading through everything, you just need a quick pause for effect, right? And screens slow down tempo. Screens keep defenses honest. You can play different plays off a screen game. I really think that Kyle would they'd do really good if he started that early. And the reason why I'm talking about early is because it took Kyle forever to start running screens last year. Like, he didn't start running screens until like maybe the 10th game of the season, bro. And we were all noticing it. Like, finally, like he's running screens. So when defenses are pinning their ears back and teeing off on you, bro, run a screen.
Got to do something.
Yes.
So Justin disagrees with my take that Witherspoon's top 5 corner. Listen,
you said that?
I look at corners as the whole game, right? I don't look at just how do they do in coverage. If we're just talking about pure coverage corners, I agree he's not top 5. But run defense wise, he's a top 2, maybe 3 corner in the NFL. Pass, like as a blitzer, easily a top 10, probably top 5 corner. If we're just talking pure coverage, top 20. But when you add that he can do literally everything, plus he can play inside, outside, and safety, that man's a top 5 corner in the league. I don't care what anybody says. So you can like your Sauce Gardners or whatever else. Sauce doesn't tackle the way that he does. Sauce isn't getting his nose dirty in a blitz game. Sauce isn't doing the things that Witherspoon does.
Reek Witherspoon.
Devin Witherspoon.
Devin, okay.
Seahawks. Devin Witherspoon.
Boy, I thought you was talking about Akello.
No.
As soon as I see what I said, you said that?
Yeah, Devin Witherspoon.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
Yeah. No, Witherspoon is that deal. Period. I'll say this. At the very least, Witherspoon is who 49er fans think Deommodore Lenoir is. Let's just put it like that.
Dog, I'm going to tell you right now, Demo, he's at a crossroads. He's at a crossroads.
Thank you.
It could all, thank you, Tom. And it could all be crazy for Deommodore Lenoir if he does not have a good year this year. For real. Because what's not fair to him is that there really is nobody else. It's just him. There's nobody else that can play his position on the team. He is the number 1 corner. There's no safety net. So
yeah,
we'll see.
No,
man.
He's at a crossroads because here's the thing is that we know that he's a very good slot corner, but now he's being asked to do something completely different. And
can he play outside?
And can he play outside? We don't know the answer to that. Maybe he can, maybe he can't. We know in limited snaps he could, but that was a fraction of what he actually did. I mean, he had 500 plus snaps playing at nickel corner, playing the slot, and only like 130 or something on the outside. So great in limited roles, we know he can, but now you're the dude. And you've talked like you're the dude. Oh, I'm the best and this and that. Okay, well, every receiver across the league is not, they're waiting to play you. They're waiting to play you. So let's see it. And I hope he does. I hope he does do it because they need him to. You're right. Yeah. They do need him to. So, all right, listen, great show. Cover 2 Mondays. We'll be back at it again next Monday and all throughout the course of the season. Coach, as always, love doing these shows with you. Chat, everybody that contributed, whether it was a super chat, just throwing in your comments, liking, whatever. We appreciate all of you. Stay blessed. We'll talk soon. Peace.
Peace.